Welcome to the Skilltorch Disrupt podcast, where we dive into the world of innovation and technology. My name is Melica. I'm the founder of Skilltorch, which is a global AI tech recruitment company. The podcast is about speaking to leaders in the artificial intelligence space to dive into leadership and all important AI topics. Today, I have with me Melissa Solis, who is the CEO of Inbenta. Really excited to have you here on the podcast today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Likewise. Well, Melissa, can you tell me a bit more about your journey, how you got started in technology and artificial intelligence, and what sort of led you to start Inventor?
No, absolutely. I actually spent the first part of my career in the insurance industry and helped open a service center in Texas, moved to Texas to open that service center. After that, I moved on and became the COO of a technology company that did electronic filings for Medicare, Medicaid,
Hmm.
and fell in love with technology. And during that time, my brother and I started talking and saying, like, hey, why are we making everybody else so much money? Let's go make our own money. And we decided to start a company. And it was called GaiaX Systems. We started that in 2004. It was a fraud and risk technology company. Started at $300 and sold it
Uh,
in stock exchange in 2020 for $610 million. So was not a bad run. Just absolutely fell in love with technology. I retired after we sold the company. I stayed with London Stock Exchange for a year and retired. And, my husband decided he didn't want a full-time CEO. So I was like, I got way too much energy. And also just the fact that there are very few women in leadership in technology, period, but let alone AI, that's very, very few.
of
And I
course.
realized looking at my 2 beautiful granddaughters that there's more work to be done. I needed to get back in the game because I wanna make sure that women can be successful leaders, and because we're amazing leaders. We have great skills, and
Yeah.
so much more to be done to pave the way for women to be able to lead and be successful in this space.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's amazing about the London Stock Exchange. That's super cool. I mean, what was that experience like and what did you sort of take away from it?
Well, first of all, I was raised by an amazing mother, single mom, who really taught us humility and grace and used to tell us that, we needed to have an attitude of gratitude. And if we didn't have it, then nothing else mattered. So really, even though those moments were serene, I remember, when we closed the deal and the money was transferred, I literally, I was sitting there with this team and all of a sudden I had, which I'd already been very successful, was already a millionaire, but now I had millions of dollars in our bank account. And I remember somebody asked me, what's the first thing you're going to go do? And I was like, I want to go home and have dinner with my husband. Because every night
Nice.
cook, I cook dinner and we eat together. It's a principle that we live our life by. And I think really what it's done, it's not changed me at all. What it's done, it's enabled me to do more of what I'm passionate about, and that is helping other people become successful and be entrepreneurs and teaching them the challenges and pitfalls that we went through so they don't have to make the same mistakes. I think that it was a incredible moment, but I tell everyone, you're only as good as what you're currently doing today. And so even though that was an incredible moment, it's something very few people ever experience in their lifetime. I'm now measured by what I'm doing today. So I realize like each of us have a continued drive to at least I do a continued drive to continue to contribute. And I think I'll do that till I take my last breath.
You're so inspirational. I love that. I love I mean, it is always to do with your background and your upbringing, but actually it's just made you strong and it's just made you so successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And especially in AI, I mean, you touched up on it, fewer women are at the top in the industry. I see it as well. A lot of women I speak to, a lot of them do say the same thing. What challenges did you face navigating that predominantly male industry?
Well, I think first of all that it's a generational problem and it's not one that
Hmm.
we're gonna solve immediately. And I don't get angry at men because the reality is men have the same challenges, just different a different face, a different
Yeah.
situation. I mean, there's things that they face all the time, cutthroat and undermining and working hard and not, maybe they have a family so they don't go out to the bar and hang out afterwards so they don't get the promotion for someone that's more social. So they all face situations. They're away from their family, a lot of times traveling, there's sacrifices they have to make. So I actually have great respect for all leaders. But what I have found is women, there's this stereotype, and I think a lot of times the reason why we don't move ahead is because we don't have real conversations. And I'm a
Mm,
realist. I will tell you like it is. And the truth is, most people see women as terrible leaders. They see them as, nightmares. That they're mean. They are resentful because they feel like they, either got to sleep their way to the top or abuse their way to the top. And so a lot of people don't look at us as true leaders. They look at us as someone that doesn't have the skill set that can hang. And I think that we got to change that. And the only way
yeah.
you're going to change it, you can talk, you can create a law, but the only way you're going to change it is to actually have women be successful. Kind of like what I did with Kayak. It's like, you can't tell me I'm not a good leader because I showed you that I am. And I think that's what we have to do as women. We have to not get resentful. We can't blame other people. We can't ask for a free ride. We have to show them that we deserve that seat at the table. And then once we show them we deserve it, if they don't give it to us, go build your own dadgum table. Quit waiting around for somebody else to give it to you. And that's what I did. I just said, hey, you know what? If you're not going to give me that seat, I'll go build my own table because I've shown you that I'm a great leader. I've produced higher numbers than counterparts. I've done all these things. And I think sometimes as women, it's like, hey, stop complaining. Stop waiting for someone to give it to you. Let's go get it. Let's do it together. And I think if more women would work together and build that community, we could do
Mm,
amazing things. But we're not there yet. The community and helping one another. And in fact, a woman was promoted in my company. And I remember I heard some women talking about it. And I stopped them and said, you should never, ever talk about someone that's earned something and has received it. You should build them up and edify them.
yeah,
And
of course.
and we got to have better community and really encourage one another. And when some other woman wins or gets promoted, we should be their biggest cheerleaders because that's how we're going to win.
Of course. Well, you just touched up on that actually about you've set that example already in your company. So you're obviously setting an example for the next generation, I feel, and creating that culture of diversity and promotion and inclusion. So how have you sort of built that up? How have you sort of influenced the way you run that company today based on that?
So one is, I lead by example. And I think, every day I got to get, do I make mistakes? Absolutely. In fact, yesterday I had to apologize to someone because even though I talk very nice to people and I'm very passionate, I treat other people how I want to be treated. The reality is some days you have a bad day. And I've spoken a tone I shouldn't have. And I had to go back and say, you know what, I was wrong. And I apologize. So one is coming from an attitude of humility and understanding that none of us are perfect. But every day I get up and I really pray and ask God to help me be a better leader, to treat people how I should treat them, how he wants them treated, how he sees them. And I realized that my life is so much bigger than just for myself, that my actions affect other people. And I think as leaders, when we take that attitude and we really go forward and treat people the right way and give them the right opportunities to succeed. I mean, there is nothing greater than to see someone that you help mentor and grow, and then they go and lead other companies. I mean, that is the greatest compliment is when you raise up leaders that go out and even do greater things than you could even imagine, or even though what you're doing. And so every day I just give my best. I literally try to be my best, to give my best. And then when I lay it down in the evening, if it's not enough, then I don't worry about it because I understand that I've given everything I have. But I think sometimes we worry too much. There's some things we can't control. But if you control the things you can, which is your attitude and the way that you lead and the way that you move forward with intention, then it always works out. You always manage to get through any situation.
And of course, we've got imperfections, and of course, hormones play up. Our moods play up. So I mean, that's great. You've obviously, recognized that, we can't always be perfect. But do you find, because when I speak to female leaders, they do sometimes say, well, when we get to the top, we have to work twice as hard. What's your perspective on that? Do you think that's the case?
Well, first of all, I don't think it's about working hard. I think it's about working smart.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we do busy work that really doesn't even matter. We do that because that's what we feel comfortable with. That's where we feel like, we don't have to really be outside of our comfort zone. I tell everyone, if you don't feel uncomfortable every day, you're not pushing yourself and you're not growing and learning, and you're really not making an impact. And so, what I tell women is it's not about working twice as hard, it's about working twice as smart. And
Yeah.
that means that you have to be number one, you have to reach outside your comfort zone. You don't have to do it all. The one thing I see with women that I'm constantly challenging myself and other people is we don't have to be everything to everybody. What we have to do is put the people around us that can help us accomplish everything as a team. And so a lot of times, because as women, we watch the kids, we clean the house, we do cooking, all these things that our mother has taught us, right? And growing up, it's like you got to keep it all together and all those things. So we carry that into our career. And what I learned, back at GAIACT is, hey, I don't have to be everything to all people, but I have to put people around me that can't be. And so a team is so critical to your success, and understanding that and being able to take that and allow them to help you and encourage them, and then also give them credit for it, lift them up and compliment them and let people know that they've contributed. That is so important. And if you
Yeah.
do that,
Getting
guess what? You don't have to work twice as hard. You just work twice as smart.
Yeah, and I think recognition is important. I feel like as women, we also like validation as well, and I think that does help us grow. And even just constructive feedback, wherever it's positive or negative, that's going to help us grow regardless.
Yes, you don't grow from people telling you you're doing great. You grow from people telling you what you're doing wrong. And none of us, and if anybody tells me they love, uh, positive constructive criticism, they're lying. No one
Yeah,
likes to know they're doing something wrong. But when you can take that and process it, it helps you grow. I mean, my greatest moments is when someone told me something I didn't want to hear. Because then I went home and I self-reflected and was like, wow, that is absolutely right. Those are defining moments in my life. And I'm not always the best at it, but I have amazing team of people around me, and I have mentors that I've said, you can tell me anything you want, regardless whether I like it or not, and I'm okay with it. And I think that's super important as a leader, whether you're a male or a female, I don't really care. You need people who will speak truth into your life and are not as scared to tell you the truth. I hire leaders who will tell me the truth, that are willing to walk in my office and say, I know you think this is a great idea, but it's not. And here's why. And if you just hire people that do whatever you say and never ever challenge you, you're not going to win. You need people who will challenge you around you, that will tell you when something's not right. That's how you win.
that's super insightful. I don't know if you've got a book out there, but I feel like you should write a book. You're so inspirational, and I feel like there's a lot that I can learn from you and others in the audience as well.
Thank you.
Anyway, talking about your company, so you operate a artificial intelligence company, and look, there's lots of discussions around AI. We're using it, but I feel like a lot of people don't really understand it. How do you sort of explain what it does and why it actually really matters?
So first of all, AI is massive. And it cracks me up whenever people will come to me and say, oh, well, you do AI. What does that mean? I mean,
Yeah.
AI does so many different things. Listen, it's an amazing tool, but you notice I said tool, because some people have this illusion that it's just fixes all those problems. It doesn't. It is a
No.
tool that helps you fix problems. So right now we play in the conversational AI space. Tell you is one of the reasons that really intrigued me about this space is it's been around for 20 years. People think AI just evolved. No, Chat GPT just evolved, and then all these other things, these large language models just evolved. But AI has been around for a lot of years, and so is conversational AI. And the truth is, it's not worked right. There's huge gaps, and people continue to struggle. I mean, if you read what Gartner and Forrester and IDC and all these analysts have put out, TSIA, 70 to 85% of the deployments either have stalled or failed. In AI, which everyone, thought was going to solve every problem in the world, 95% of deployments are failing. Why is that? It's because there are still gaps and people are trying to use it in ways that it's not equipped for yet. And
Yeah.
it's there yet. It's not, at that level yet. So what I like to say is we have smart, honest conversations with our clients and really help them explore how it can help them do tasks, improve workflows, allow employees to do tasks that they should be focused on versus things that can be solved with AI. But we really help people understand what AI really can do for them and then deploy it so they have successful deployments. I like to call it the new conversation because we're really not conversational AI. With our new Encore platform, is we're helping people solve problems. And I think that, so many people ran in and just thought AI was just going to solve everything. The truth is, as humans, there are incredible talents and knowledge that we have. And I know that, people say in AI, in 2 to 5 years, AI will be smarter than humans. That may happen. Who knows? I mean, we continue to see and evolve and see so many amazing things. But what I can tell you today, that humans still need to be involved. And when you
Of
pull
course.
that's when these deployments fail. So, I think that as a business leader, I embrace AI. We've brought AI in multiple facets throughout our organization. We also deploy AI as our product and platform. But I will tell you that it is the human mind and touch that makes it great today and makes those deployments successful.
I mean, I think we sometimes we are trying to follow a path. I've got a TEDx talk coming up, and they're actually going to be talking about this, and it's about how we are suddenly starting to become almost like robots, and actually, we really need to realize that what we've been brought on this world to be, which is building authentic human connections. So we need, yes, AI is fantastic and it can make our work very efficient, but we also need to use the muscle in our brain.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, there's studies done right now that when we allow our children to go in a room and shut themselves off and just talk to an iPad or a phone or whatever that piece of technology may be, is that they'll have stronger issues with depression, with
Mm,
anxiety, all these different things. We are created to have that human interaction and that connection, and it is critically important. And when you look at parents who, refuse to let their kids spend hours as small children on, the devices and all those things, they limit it, like for learning capabilities or social capabilities.
yeah.
Truth is, I always say the greatest connections and customers are when you've had that personal touch, you meet them face to face, and you continue to service them face to face, whether it be over a piece of technology or in person. People still crave that human touch. And it has also been proven by statistics and all the analytics and all the data that's been out in the public. When you pull the human out of it, that's when you have failed deployments and people become frustrated and customers become disillusioned and get upset because they miss that human interaction. So there's things that AI can do that is amazing. It can provide service and do outside of hours. You normally don't have humans. It can take language and translate it, allow you to talk to someone in Spain when you're talking in English and talk to them in Spanish. There's all these things it can do, but it still requires that human touch. It still requires a human to get that data ready that feeds
Yeah.
into the solution. So I think sometimes people are scared of it, so it stays away because they think, they read the news. But I have found in life over my almost 60 years of life that, if you just watch TV and get your sound bites from news, you're already behind
Of
because a lot
course.
through. And I remember watching when I was sitting in Spain a news channel in the US and they were reporting something, and I was literally sitting in Spain in the middle of where this supposedly was happening. I'm like, that's not true. So there's so many things that people say that, portray things in a way that's not true. So listen, I'm excited. We're in phase one of many phases of AI. And I think the future is still unknown, but I think if we use it responsibly and we use it in the right way, the things it's going to do, it's going to bring medicine to people to heal them from cancer and so many diseases that people are dying. I see so many incredible things that are happening right now that I think It's an amazing tool at our fingertips if it's used properly, will change the world.
Of absolutely, and again, super insightful, and I really like your take on that. Again, the technology's there, so it's tempted to be solely reliant on it. But again, like you said, we need to just remember who we are and why we're here in the first place, which is the human element and human connection.
Yes.
So just last but not least, so for anyone looking to sort of make their mark in AI or technology, whether that's women or your grandchildren or employees or the next generation, with one lesson about leadership, life or AI, what would that be?
Be authentic. Don't be embarrassed of who you are. Be proud of it. Be bold. Be willing to stand up for your principles and your character and how you want to do business. I refuse to be bullied. I refuse to be pushed into thinking other ways. I'm dyslexic. It makes things really tough for me, even going up and speaking, doing things. I'd have to spend time. I have to keep
Yeah.
my mind straight. I have to really control my thoughts. And I think it's been amazing. I've had open heart surgery. I was born with a heart murmur.
My
And
goodness.
I had my aortic valve replaced and part of my aorta. And in fact, I just found out my valve is failing. In the next 12 months, I will have to have another replacement.
Oh,
And
bless you.
it'd be real easy for me to go sit in my house and feel sorry for myself, and nobody would blame me. I could go hang it up. But guess what? God has created me for a purpose and a reason. And I believe that we all have responsibility to leave this world in a better place than when we arrived. And I believe that, when you really do your greatest work is when you are faced with the biggest trials. And it's not like how if you get through them, it's how you get through it. And if I can show the world around me that you can do anything, even in the midst of personal challenges, business challenges, but how your character and how you walk through those moments really define the world around you. So I would say lead with, be authentic, lead with character, and don't allow people to push you to be somebody you're not. I mean, stand strong in who you are and how you want to do business. And if you do that, you can accomplish anything.
That's really good advice, and that's definitely something I'm for sure going to take on board for myself. Everything that you've said today, so thank you so much. And you just come across as an incredibly strong and inspirational woman, which I absolutely love. And I feel like you will inspire a lot of listeners to this. So thank you so much, Melissa. Again,
You. Awesome. And thank you so much for having me today. I've enjoyed talking with you.
thank you. You too.